بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Your Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, Deputy Prime Minister of Kingdom of Bahrain, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. A very good morning to all of you joining us here in the beautiful Kingdom of Bahrain, and a very good day to all of you joining us virtually through Zoom and other social media platforms. On behalf of Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institutions and Islamic Development Bank, we welcome you to the 17th Annual Islamic Banking and Finance Conference under the theme of Economic Resilience and Governance in the Disruptive Times. It is being organized under the auspices of Central Bank of Bahrain. To start the proceedings of the day, let us start with the verses of the Holy Quran. And for that, I invite Sheikh Dr. Muhammad Hamza to recite few verses, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم.
Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh Dr. Muhammad Hamza. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the theme of the conference is Economic Resilience and Governance in Disruptive Times. We are glad to have more than 35 international speakers, more than 3 governors of central banks and regulatory bodies, vice governors, and more than 500 people registered for this international conference. We welcome you all on behalf of the organizers to this very prestigious conference. Now, to formally welcome you all, I have the pleasure of inviting His Excellency Sheikh Ibrahim bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, Chairman of AAOIFI Board of Trustees, to deliver his keynote address.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وموالاه. معالي الشيخ خالد بن عبد الله الخليفة نائب رئيس مجلس الوزراء، معالي الشيخ خالد بن علي آل خليفة نائب رئيس المجلس الشؤون الإسلامية رئيس محكمة التمييز، سعادة الأستاذ رشيد محمد المعراج محافظ مصرف البحرين المركزي، سعادة الدكتور فراس ملحم محافظ ورئيس سلطة النقد الفلسطينية، سعادة الدكتور بيرجيو أرجو محافظ بنك أندونيسيا، سعادة الأستاذ علي عبد الظاهر محافظ البنك المركزي الصومالي، سعادة الأستاذ الدكتور سامي السويلم القائم بأعمال المدير العام لمجموعة البنك الإسلامي للتنمية، سعادة الدكتور وسيم منصوري نائب المحافظ الأول مصرف لبنان المركزي، أصحاب السعادة والضيوف الكرام يشرفني ويسعدني. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يشرفني أن أستقبلكم في مؤتمر أيوفي للتنمية للعمل المصرفي الإسلامي الذي ينعقد هذا العام في نسخته 17. وأتشرف بأن أنقل إليكم أطيب تمنيات سيدي صاحب الجلالة الملك حمد بن عيسى الخليفة ملك مملكة البحرين، وسيدي صاحب السمو الشيخ سلمان بن حمد الخليفة ولي العهد الأمين ونائب القائد الأعلى لقوة دفاع البحرين ورئيس مجلس الوزراء. كما أتوجه بالشكر لكل الضيوف والمتحدثين المشاركين، وأخص منهم بالذكر من شرفنا بالحضور من خارج مملكة البحرين. أصحاب المعالي، منذ أن أبصرت صناعة المالية النور قبل نحو صناعة المالية الإسلامية قبل نحو 50 عاما، واصلت تطورها بمعدلات ملحوظة واستطاعت التغلب على جملة من التحديات. ولقد رأينا وعايشنا كيف أثبتت هذه الصناعة مرونتها وقدرتها على التعافي والاستمرار وتخطي آثار الأزمة المالية لعام 2008 وجائحة كوفيد-19، وكيف حققت في الوقت نفسه نموا وانتشارا استثنائيا. وإذا نظرنا إلى موجودات وإلى مؤشرات الحجم والنمو، حيث بلغت موجودات الصناعة المالية الإسلامية الدولية في عام 2020 3.3 تريليون دولار أمريكي، ويتوقع أن يستمر معدل النمو ب8% إلى عام 2025 لتبلغ ما يقارب 5 تريليون دولار. والإيضاح أمامكم هنا. أما من حيث الانتشار والتركز، فإن الصناعة المالية الإسلامية أصبح لها وجود واضح في حوالي 75 دولة على مستوى العالم. وبالنظر إلى أن الكتلة السكانية الأكبر في العالم، أن المسلمون هم الكتلة السكانية الأكبر في العالم، وبحدود عام 2030 يتوقع أن يصل عدد المسلمين إلى 2.2 بليون، ويتركز أغلبهم في منطقتنا ومنطقة غرب آسيا. وهذا بين لكم في الجدول الثاني. إضافة إلى ذلك، فإن الشريحة الأكبر من سكان العالم المسلمين هي من فئة الشباب، حيث يبلغ متوسط أعمارهم 23 عاما. وإلى جانب هذه المؤشرات الإيجابية، فإن عدد السكان المسلمين والنسبة الغالبة للفئات العمرية الشابة سيضمن تحقيق نمو مستدام في الاستهلاك والإنتاج والاستثمار، وبالتأكيد سينعكس ذلك إيجابيا على المالية الإسلامية ومقومات ازدهارها واستدامتها. ولذلك فإنني على يقين بأن مستقبل المالية الإسلامية واعد، وأنها ستواصل نموها وتوسعها. ولكن يكمن التحدي في عدة أمور أظهرها ما يلي. الأول، إلى أي مدى تعزز المالية الإسلامية أسس تشارك المخاطر وريادة الأعمال والتمويلات القائمة على الموجودات. والثاني، إلى أي مدى تسهم المالية الإسلامية في تحقيق التوزيع العادل للدخل والثروة للوصول إلى العدالة الاقتصادية والاجتماعية. والثالث هو إلى أي مدى تلبي المالية الإسلامية متطلبات الشمول المالي الذي يسهم في خلق فرص عمل وتعزيز الحركة الاقتصادية والتجارية، ومن ثم الحد من الفقر وزيادة الثروة. ورابعا، إلى أي مدى نجحت المالية الإسلامية في تقديم نموذج يحتذى به للقيام الأساسية مثل العدالة والشفافية والمساءلة على الصعيدين المؤسسي والفردي. ولأجل مواجهة هذه التحديات وغيرها، فإن تحقيق الإمكانيات الكامنة للمالية الإسلامية يجب أن نحرص على ضمن أمور أخرى على ما يلي. الأول، تطبيق المالية الإسلامية في سياق مقاصد الشريعة، بحيث يتم التركيز بالإضافة إلى هدف الربحية على تحقيق أهداف استراتيجية أخرى وبدرجة معقولة. والثاني، إقامة التوازن الصحيح بين التمويل بالدين والتمويل المشاركة، بحيث ينصب التركيز بدرجة أكبر على جدوى وربحية المشروع وعدم الاكتفاء بالضمان وحده. والثالث هو الاستثمار الواسع في التقنية ورأس المال البشري لزيادة القدرة الإنتاجية للاقتصاد، مما يؤدي بدوره إلى زيادة الثروة والانتعاش الاقتصادي. والرابع هو توجيه التمويل إلى قطاعات اقتصادية متنوعة، وخاصة قطاع الزراعة، لإنشاء سلاسل الإمداد الغذائي وتحقيق الأمن الغذائي. وهنا فإن هذا الجانب له أهمية خاصة، لأنه وفقا للتقرير العالمي بشأن أزمة الغذاء الصادر سنة 2022، فإن 7 من أصل 10 دول تعاني من أزمة الغذاء وانعدام الأمن الغذائي هي دول ذات أغلبية مسلمة، ويبين ذلك في الجدول المرافق. وأخيرا، لتحقيق الإمكانيات الكاملة للمالية الإسلامية يجب أن نسعى للوصول إلى مستوى أعلى من توحيد الممارسات الجيدة أو ما يعرف بأفضل الممارسات، وهذا أمر مهم وحاسم لتعزيز الثقة أصحاب المصالح في المالية الإسلامية. أصحاب المعالي الحضور الكرام، في ختام كلمتي هذا أود أن أتوجه بالشكر والتقدير لمصرف البحرين المركزي ولجميع الشركاء والرعاة والجهات الإعلامية والحضور الكريم لدورهم البارز في إنجاح هذا المؤتمر. كما أتوجه بالشكر والتقدير لجميع المؤسسات الأعضاء لدعمها المعهود، وكذلك إلى جميع شركائنا والجهات الداعمة الأخرى لجهودهم الدؤوبة في تطوير الصناعة المالية. وأود هنا قبل أن أنتهي أن أتقدم بعظيم الشكر والامتنان إلى معالي الشيخ خالد بن عبد الله نائب رئيس الوزراء لتفضله وتشريفنا في هذا اليوم، وأرجو لكم مناقشات ثرية وبناءة، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Sheikh Ibrahim bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, Chairman of AAOIFI Board of Trustees, for delivering his welcome address. Swiftly moving on, ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasure of inviting the conference patron, the Governor of Central Bank of Bahrain, His Excellency Governor Rashid Al Miraj, to deliver his welcome address.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي الشيخ خالد بن عبد الله الخليفة نائب رئيس مجلس الوزراء الموقر، معالي الشيخ خالد بن علي الخليفة نائب الرئيس الأعلى لمجلس القضاء الأعلى، معالي الشيخ إبراهيم بن خليفة الخليفة رئيس مجلس أمناء الأيوفي، الزملاء من محافظي البنوك المركزية والهيئات الرقابية، أصحاب الفضيلة، السيدات والسادة، ضيوفنا الكرام، يسعدني ويشرفني أن أرحب بكم في هذا المؤتمر، وأن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل لكل من ساهم بتنظيمه، هيئة الأيوفي والبنك الإسلامي للتنمية والجهات الأخرى الداعمة وجميع المشاركين في حلقات النقاش. يناقش هذا المؤتمر العديد من المواضيع الهامة ذات العلاقة المباشرة بتطور الصيرفة الإسلامية في ظل أوضاع تشهد تحولات في منهجيات الأعمال بسبب التطورات التكنولوجية. وفي هذه الوقفة السريعة أود أن أشير إلى بعض المحاور الهامة والتي آمل من إثارتها من جديد توجيه الاهتمام بها من ضمن العديد من المواضيع التي سيتم تناولها خلال المؤتمر. أولاً، تأكيد مرة أخرى على الأخذ بمقاصد الشريعة السمحاء كمنهج عمل للمؤسسات العاملة ضمن صناعة الصيرفة الإسلامية، والتأكيد هنا على النقطة بسبب التركيز حتى الآن في أعمال البنوك الإسلامية على توفير منتجات تقليدية تم إعادة تأهيلها لتتوافق مع متطلبات المعاملات الشرعية، دون العناية الكافية بمتطلبات المقاصد الحقيقية للأهداف المرجوة من أحكام المقاصد الشرعية، وهي الاهتمام بخلق قيمة حقيقية اقتصادية واجتماعية لدور المعاملات المالية في المجتمع بمعناها الواسع، ويأتي من ضمنها متطلبات الحوكمة والنزافة والشفافية. أن الاهتمام الذي يبديه العالم الآن عن ظاهرة تغير المناخ والحفاظ على البيئة له ليس بأمر قريب عن تعاليم الإسلام، فالعقيدة الإسلامية السمحاء في جوهرها هي لحماية الإنسان والبيئة وتنظيم الحياة في المجتمع بما يحقق التوازن بين المتطلبات المعيشية والروحية. ومن هذا المنطلق نتوقع من المؤسسات المالية الإسلامية أخذ دور قيادي ومميز في تطبيق أفضل الممارسات والمعايير في مجال حماية البيئة ومكافحة تغير المناخ والاقتصاد الأخضر ومتطلبات الأمن الغذائي، وتوجيه التمويلات والاستثمار لتوفير الحلول المناسبة. وفي هذا الصدد أود أن أشير إلى جهود مصرف البحرين المركزي، حيث تم مؤخرا إصدار إرشادات أولية لزيادة وعي القطاع المالي بتأثير تغير المناخ ومخاطره المالية، والعمل جاري على إصدار مزيد من الإرشادات والتوجيهات في الأيام القادمة، وخصوصا فيما يتعلق بالإفصاح العام في هذا المجال. كما أصبح مصرف البحرين المركزي عضواً في شبكة تخضير النظام المالي، وهي الهيئة العالمية للمنظمين الذين يعملون على إجراءات السياسة التنظيمية المتعلقة بتغير المناخ. ونأمل أن يكون للمؤسسات المالية الإسلامية كما أشرت دوراً بارزاً وقيادياً في هذه الجهود، وخاصة على المستوى الدولي. ثانياً، فتحت التكنولوجيا المالية العديد من الوسائل الجديدة للقطاع المالي، والتي يمكن للتمويل الإسلامي الاستفادة منها. فهناك نماذج أعمال جديدة ناشئة توفر فرصة للبنوك الإسلامية للتنافس مع أقرانها التقليدية على نفس المستوى بغض النظر عن الفرق في الأحجام. وهناك حاجة إلى أن تتخذ مؤسسات التمويل الإسلامي خطوة استراتيجية مهمة في مواجهة التقدم التكنولوجي الحالي، وتولي دورا قياديا قبل فوات الأوان. وعليه آمل أن يلقي المؤتمر الضوء على كيف يمكن لمؤسسات التمويل الإسلامي بناء القدرة على إحداث تغيير في أسلوب ومنهجية عملها بسبب التطورات التكنولوجية الحديثة مع الاحتفاظ بهويتها الفريدة. ثالثاً، الاستمرار في تطوير الكوادر البشرية المناسبة في قيادة العمل المصرفي المتوافق مع الشريعة الإسلامية، حفاظاً على ديمومة الصناعة وقدرتها على المنافسة مع التحولات الكبيرة التي يشهدها قطاع المال بشكل عام. وهذا لا يقتصر على العاملين في الصناعة مباشرة، بل يتعداها إلى المختصين في المجالس الشرعية والرقابة والتدقيق الشرعي. رابعاً، ومن الجوانب الأخرى التي تحتاج إلى مناقشة، وهو إطار الحوكمة المناسب للنوافذ الإسلامية. لا تتمتع النوافذ فقط بميزة القوة المالية وشبكة فروع الشركة الأم التقليدية، بل يتم تنظيمها بشكل طفيف في معظم الدول مقارنة بالبنوك الإسلامية. ونظراً لزيادة استخدام النوافذ الإسلامية، فإن مبادرة المؤتمر لمناقشة قضايا الحوكمة حول هذه النوافذ تأتي في الوقت المناسب من أجل ضمان تكافؤ الفرص مع البنوك الإسلامية. ونتطلع إلى توصياتكم حول كيفية إنشاء نموذج حوكمة أكثر قوة للنوافذ لضمان الحوكمة الشرعية المناسبة. في الختام، أصحاب المعالي السيدات والسادة، أود أن أشكركم على المشاركة في المؤتمر، وأتمنى لكم مؤتمراً مثمراً، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for delivering the welcome remark. Excellencies, distinguished guests, moving on to our next segment, we've got our special speech, and with our special guest, we have His Excellency Dr. Firas Milham, Governor, Palestine Monetary Authority, who will deliver his keynote speech. Over to you, Sir.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي رئيس مجلس وزراء، معالي رئيس مجلس القضاء الأعلى، معالي الشيخ إبراهيم الخليفي رئيس مجلس الأمناء، رئيس هيئة المحاسبة والمراجعة للمؤسسات المالية الإسلامية، معالي الصديق العزيز الأخ رشيد المعراج محافظ مصرف البحرين المركزي، المعالي الأخ وسيم منصوري نائب الأول مصرف لبنان المركزي، الأستاذ عمر أنصاري الأمين العام هيئة المحاسبة والمراجعة للمؤسسات المالية الإسلامية، الدكتور سامي سويلم المدير العام بالإنابة لمعهد البنك الإسلامي للتنمية وكبير الاقتصاديين في مجموعات البنك الإسلامي للتنمية، السادة المحافظين والحضور الكريم، الأخوات والأخوة الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدني أن أشارككم اليوم حفل افتتاح مؤتمر أيوفي والبنك الإسلامي للتنمية السابع عشر للعمل المصرفي والمالي الإسلامي بعنوان تعافي الاقتصاد والحوكمة في أوقات الأزمات، متمنين لكم ولمؤسستكم الكريمة المزيد من التقدم والازدهار بما يساهم في تطوير ونمو صناعة الصيرفة الإسلامية. كما أنه لمن دواعي سروري أن نحتفل هذا اليوم بتوقيع مذكرة التفاهم بين سلطة النقد الفلسطينية وهيئة المحاسبة والمراجعة للمؤسسات المالية الإسلامية، والتي تأتي متممة لدورنا في تنمية وصناعة الصيرفة الإسلامية في فلسطين وفقا لأفضل الممارسات والمعايير الدولية ذات العلاقة، وبما ينسجم مع رؤيتنا في تنظيم العلاقة مع الجهات التي نعتبرها شريكا أساسيا واستراتيجيا في الصناعة المصرفية الإسلامية. لقد اعتمدت سلطة النقد المعايير الشرعية ومعايير المحاسبة والحوكمة الصادرة عن هيئة المحاسبة والمراجعة للمؤسسات المالية الإسلامية كمرجع لعمل المصارف الإسلامية في فلسطين. لذلك تكمن أهمية مذكرة التفاهم باعتبارها ستشكل إطاراً لإنشاء آلية التعاون المشترك من خلال الاستفادة من تبادل المعلومات والخبرات وبناء القدرات وتأهيل العاملين في الصيرفة الإسلامية وتعزيز الوعي والفهم لمعايير هيئة المحاسبة والمراجعة للمؤسسات المالية الإسلامية، إضافة إلى المساعدة في تطبيق هذه المعايير. الحضور الكريم، تواجه الاقتصاديات العالمية العديد من التحديات والمخاطر المتسارعة في ظل المتغيرات المتلاحقة التي رافقت الأزمة الصحية العالمية والحروب الإقليمية والتغيرات العالمية والتغيرات المناخية، والنمو المتسارع أيضا للتكنولوجيا المالية الذي يستتبع تغيرا في أشكال العمل المالي ودخول الشركات التقنية العالمية ذات المراكز المالية الضخمة في منافسات المؤسسات المالية محليا في تقديم الخدمات المالية، مما يعني عدم اقتصار تقديم الخدمات المالية على المؤسسات الوطنية، بل ستأخذ البعد الدولي العالمي مستقبلا. وهذا يشكل فرصة وتحديا في الوقت نفسه للجهات الرقابية الوطنية، بحيث لا بد لنا من مواكبة واستيعاب هذه التقنيات والتعامل مع الآثار المترتبة عليها. على الرغم من أن صناعة المالية الإسلامية أثبتت مرونة في التعامل مع عديد من التحديات والأزمات نتيجة لبعدها القيمي والأخلاقي وقيامها على مبادئ تراعي العدالة الاجتماعية والتوازن في مصالح الأطراف، إلا أنها لا زالت بحاجة للعب دور أكثر فعالية وتأثيرا بتقديم منتجات جديدة وابتكار أيضا تقنيات حديثة أكثر ارتباطا بأهداف ومبادئ الاقتصاد الإسلامي ومصادر الشريعة الإسلامية. على هذا المنبر قلت في الزيارة السابقة أن الصيرفة الإسلامية في فلسطين كما هو الحال في باقي العالم تنمو بأضعاف الصيرفة التقليدية، وهذا شيء يعني يسعدنا جميعا، إلا أننا إذا لم نواكب التطورات العالمية هذا يعني سوف تتأخر الصناعة الصيرفية. إذا أخذنا على سبيل المثال التقنيات المستخدمة في الصيرفة الإسلامية قد تكون على مستوى الريتيل مقبولة جيدة، لكن في هناك تحديات بخصوص منتجات أخرى من ناحية إلكترونية، مثل على سبيل المثال تقديم الخدمات التمويل بشكل إلكتروني. هذا يشكل تحدي أمامنا جميعا. الإخوة الكرام، الأخوات، إن تتالي الأزمات المالية والتحديات على المستوى العالمي تطلب منا على المستوى العربي والإسلامي التحرك بجهد حاسم ومنسق وتضافر الجهود لقلب التحديات إلى فرص، ونقاط ضعفنا إلى عوامل قوة، وتشجيع شبابنا وشاباتنا على الابتكار لتسخير التقنيات المالية الحديثة لخدمة أولوياتنا وأهدافنا الوطنية. وأرى أن هذا الجهد المبارك بين البنك الإسلامي للتنمية وهيئة المحاسبة والمراجعة خطوة مهمة لتحقيق المنشود والمأمول منا جميعا. وفي النهاية أود أن أتقدم بجزيل الشكر إلى هيئة المحاسبة والبنك الإسلامي على هذه الدعوة، وإلى مملكة البحرين ملكا وحكومة وشعبا والبنك المركزي البحريني على حسن الضيافة والاستقبال، وشكرا لكم جميعا.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Firas Milham, Governor of Palestine Monetary Authority. Our next keynote speech will be delivered by His Excellency Governor Perry Wajio, Governor of Bank Indonesia, who unfortunately was not able to join us physically here, but will be delivering his keynote address through the Zoom platform, virtually inshallah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah wa la quwata illa billah. Allahumma sallim wa sallim ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. His Excellency Syekh Ibrahim bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, Chairman of the AAOIFI Board of Trustees, His Excellency Rashid Mohammed Al Maraj, Governor of Central Bank of Bahrain, His Excellency Dr. Firas Milham, Governor of Chairman and Palestine of Monetary Authority, distinguished prominent speakers, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure for me to give a special remark in this reputable economic resilience and governance in disruptive times conference. On behalf of Bank Indonesia, let me express our gratitude to Central Bank of Bahrain, the Islamic Development Bank, as well as the Accounting and Auditing Organization for Islamic Financial Institution, which has successfully organized this conference. My apology, I'm not be able to be there, but that will not reduce my sincere thanks as well as my pleasure to be among this prominent speaker. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, following the COVID-19 pandemic, we are facing global economic uncertainty. We are facing how to ensure the global economic slowdown is not continue, but as well as we are also need to ensure energy and food security as well as other aspects. Under the Indonesia G20 presidency that we just conclude weeks ago, President Joko Widodo, our President of Republic of Indonesia, voice as well as deliver the Bali G20 leaders declaration calling and committing for the global G20 cooperation in averting, mitigating the global economic slowdown. But beyond that, of course, we need to work together how to address the energy and food security around the world, including in the Muslim countries, that we have to ensure that our people also have enough food and energy to continue economic recovery. We also calling for cooperation in addressing the health issue following the COVID-19 pandemic. And we also have in the leaders declaration under G20 for also preparing for the future, which is the green economy also as well as digital transformation. In this regard, of course, we as Indonesian from the G20 leaders declaration taking the gratitude of this conference of the need for Islamic financial industry to take active role in promoting national economic resilience and governance. We must act together to develop Islamic economic and finance through various opportunities available in the global market. Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to share our thoughts on how to develop Islamic economic and finance to enhance resilience and governance. First, the strong political commitment, particularly to develop the framework on Islamic economic and finance through blueprint, roadmap, and that is agreed together nationally. In Indonesia, we have National Sharia Economic and Finance Committee, which has developed a 5-year Sharia Economic Master Plan as an effort together to strengthen monetary stability, financial system, as well as the economic and social welfare of the people in general. Our Islamic Financial Development Program are formulated and implemented based on the Sharia Master Plan and disseminated through Indonesia Sharia Economic Festival, which is conducted annually. 3 main programs of the Indonesia Economic Sharia Festival, including Indonesia International Modest Fashion Festival as a world reference modest fashion, halal certification acceleration movement, as well as strengthening the global halal hub ecosystem, which also synergizing accelerating the development of the global oriented local halal product. Second, the need for mobilization of social finance, zakah, infak, sodako, and wakaf as a new source of economic growth to be combined with the commercial Islamic finance. Indonesia is one of the largest country that issuing the largest sukuk for our economic development, as well as we also issuing the largest green sukuk for the green economy for our economic welfare. Including, but also we are also the following social finance, which is cash wakaf link sukuk, which is also jointly under collaboration of Bank Indonesia, Indonesia Wakaf Agency, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Minister of Finance, whereby people can purchase, can invest in this cash wakaf link sukuk together with the commercial finance to develop the economic development as well as some aspect of social program. We believe that under this strong Jama'ah together, institution, a wide range of segment of age, we can provide a wider benefit by maximizing sukuk and wakaf instrument. Third, digitalization. The development of Islamic financial instrument cannot be separated from the role of digitalization, including also how to harness digitalization for promoting Sharia economic and finance, including also the medium, small, micro enterprises for promoting the welfare of our people. Indonesia is one of the fastest growing digitalization in our economic and finance. We already developed our national blueprint that already being implemented since 2019 that promoting digitalization in various areas. We have a standardization of our digitalization, including the use of one QR, quick response Indonesian standard, developing a fast payment, developing also our industry together where digitalization can promote the economic and finance, including in the Islamic finance. We are also going developing digitalization through mobilization of zakah, infak, sodako, through from the smallest unit, from the mosque, Islamic boarding school, zakah institution, and other social activities whereby digitalization can provide instrument that is fast, cheap, easy to use, and reliable. We do believe digitalization can provide a very fast-growing instrument for promoting economic resilience and governance in this conference. There are, of course, still many challenges that we need to face in sustaining the Islamic financial industry on the keep accelerating going forward. We need to work together hand in hand to overcome many challenges as a together effort to benefit from our people. With that, please allow me to express my sincere appreciation to all the committees, event organizer, and parties for this, as well as from the AAOIFI, Islamic Development Bank, as well as Bahrain Monetary Authority for inviting me to give this special remark. May Allah bestow us the strength and passion to preserve and fulfilling our duty for a better future. With that, I thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Dr. Perry Wajio, Governor, Bank Indonesia, for joining us virtually and sharing some keynote remarks on very thought-provoking ideas. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I have the pleasure of inviting now our partners for this conference, Islamic Development Bank, to deliver the keynote address. And for that, we have Dr. Sami Swelem, Acting Director General, Islamic Development Bank Institute, and the Chief Economist of Islamic Development Bank Group. I welcome you, Dr. Sami, to deliver your keynote remarks.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. الحقيقة أنا عديت الكلمة باللغة الإنجليزية ولهذا أستأذنكم في إلقائها باللغة الإنجليزية. أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Since the theme of this conference concerns economic resilience, I would like to put forward 3 key questions in this regard. What is resilience? Why is it important? And how to achieve resilience? Resilience is described as the ability of the community to foresee, adapt to, and leverage changing conditions to its advantage. This implies the ability of the economy to respond swiftly and constructively to various kinds of shocks. Shocks might be negative or positive. The COVID-19 pandemic is an example of a negative shock, and a resilient economy can bounce back from the pandemic crisis and resume the pace of progress prevailing before the pandemic. On the other hand, the economy might experience a positive shock, like a surge in demand for some goods like oil, for example. A resilient economy can transform this short-term windfall into a long-lasting gain. The inability of the economy to react constructively to shocks, positive or negative, is a sign of a lack of resilience. So why is resilience important? Resilience is vital for sustainable development. Without resilience, the economy cannot continue to progress in the face of unpredictable forces of disruption and disturbance. Resilience is also essential to overcome poverty traps. A negative shock may cause many members of the society to be locked into poverty and unable to escape it. Resilience is necessary for the economy to overcome such a trap. Another important trap is the middle income trap. Many countries were able to overcome the poverty trap and improve the income of their citizens, but they tend to face difficulties moving on to the high income level. The economy must be sufficiently resilient to surpass the barriers and constraints that lock it into the middle income trap. Now, if resilience is so important, how to make it integral to our economies? Surprisingly, the principles of Islamic finance provide a consistent framework most suitable for this objective. Specifically, from an Islamic finance perspective, resilience can be achieved in 3 dimensions. The first dimension is the non-profit domain. This includes, as we all know, zakat, awqaf, and all forms of Islamic social finance. The non-profit domain is essential for building trust and solidarity among members of society. Trust, in turn, is vital for the ability of the community to surpass a myriad of obstacles and challenges. The non-profit sector represents the safety net for the vulnerable to withstand adverse shocks and swiftly rebound back to normal performance. Studies show that the rise in income inequality moves in lockstep with the increase in borrowing by the government and households. Income inequality is a major force behind the middle income trap. Redistribution of income via the non-profit sector is required to build a resilient economy capable of overcoming these threats. Brothers and sisters, the second dimension for achieving resilience is risk sharing. To appreciate the value of risk sharing, we need to understand how interest-based lending is inconsistent with resilience. Interest-based lending is a zero-tolerance system. Lenders insist on making profits in all circumstances, regardless of the economic situations the borrowers are facing. If the borrower is facing difficulties, the lender will refinance or reschedule the due debt to a future date, but with additional returns. There is no event, except for bankruptcy, where the lender agrees to share the risk with the borrower. The system has zero tolerance for risk. As is well known from engineering, a zero tolerance system is generally less stable and vulnerable than a system, and more vulnerable than a system that tolerates a specific range of risk. Extensive studies by economists at the IMF and elsewhere show that economic downturns associated with financial crises tend to cost the economy about 3 times the cost of downturns not associated with such crises. Moreover, it takes the economy twice as long to return to the same level of output as before the downturn. Not only that, but the economy becomes prone to losing its long-term potential, growing at rates substantially below its capacity prior to the downturn. The global financial crisis, in particular, had a severe impact on the potential output of advanced economies. The GDP of the US and the Eurozone after the financial crisis was about 13% below its long-term potential before the global crisis. This shows that excessive debt levels make the economy less resilient to shocks, as it cannot swiftly rebound to its pace before the crisis. Debt buildup might lock the economy into a debt trap that will be difficult to escape. The debt trap is a significant factor behind the middle income trap. Risk sharing, therefore, would support the economy to advance to the high income level. Attempting to avoid risk at all costs is riskier than tolerating a limited range of risks. The proper risk strategy, therefore, is not to try to avoid risk altogether, but rather to face it head on to be able to control it and manage it productively. This requires that we learn how to manage risk. To learn managing risk, we must be exposed to risk. Exposure to risk provides the incentives to develop tools and techniques for resilience. And this takes us to the third dimension, which is technology. Learning requires information, and information requires technology. In the digital age, technology is a vital source of information and therefore for learning. To achieve risk sharing, we need information sharing. Sharing information, in turn, requires building decentralized networks with reliable and verifiable data flows. Distributed ledger technologies, the Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence provide an environment for collecting and sharing critical information necessary to preempt potential risk and overcome their consequences after they materialize. Distinguished guests, let me conclude by highlighting the fact that we witness on a daily basis. Our world is becoming increasingly more complex and less predictable. In such an environment, we need to develop an intelligent strategy for dealing with extreme uncertainty and unquantifiable risks. The strategy is built on the concept of resilience. To be resilient, our economies should be able to withstand shocks and bounce back and forward to maintain a sustainable path of progress. The principles of Islamic finance are integral to such a strategy. Thank you for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sami Swelem, Acting Director General of Islamic Development Bank Institute and Chief Economist at Islamic Development Bank Group. Now we have the last keynote speech of the session, and it will be delivered by His Excellency Dr. Wasim Mansouri, First Vice Governor of Banque du Liban, Central Bank of Lebanon. Over to you. Welcome to.
Your Excellency Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, Deputy Prime Minister, Kingdom of Bahrain. Your Excellency Sheikh Khalid bin Ali Abdullah Al Khalifa, former Justice Minister, Kingdom of Bahrain. Your Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, former Minister for Oil and Gas. Your Excellency Sheikh Ibrahim bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, Chairman of AAOIFI. Your Excellency Sayyid Mohammed Rashid Mohammed Al-Ma'raj, Governor of Central Bank of Bahrain. Your Excellency Dr. Firas Milham, Mr. Perry Waridjo, Dr. Ali Muhammad Dahir, and Dr. Sami Swelem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today, I am very grateful to make part in this conference, and allow me first to express my appreciation to the cooperation we have with AAOIFI at the level of the accounting board and the working groups. The Central Bank of Lebanon had the willingness to become a full member in AAOIFI-IFSP, but unfortunately our laws did not allow this until now, and we are working to overcome this obstacle soon. However, today we are very glad to sign a memorandum of understanding with AAOIFI. We at the Central Bank of Lebanon had to face many crises through our history, which made us unfortunately in continuous close encounter with the concept of economic resilience. Despite a series of emergencies in the country, we learned how to become economically resilient and rise again after each crisis. And allow me, Dr. Muhammad, to say another definition of resilience, which is a complementary, of course. Economic resilience can be defined as the ability of a system to continue operating after a shock while efficiently using the remaining resources. Simply put, economic resilience is to be ready to face the consequences of a crisis by preparing the needed tools to avoid them. The cost of avoiding is much cheaper than the cost of overcoming the results of such crisis. We know by experience that disruption can extend for a long period of time, and in Lebanon maybe we can make a book about this, especially in the absence of dynamic economic resilience and solutions. The international community in many events like G20, IMF meetings, and others stresses that the sequence of recent crises is putting us all under unprecedented situation of stubborn inflation, economic recession, and increase in poverty. We should all find the best economic resilience framework to protect our economies and nations, and maybe this will let me and bring me to talk about the opportunities provided by the Islamic finance. In all previous crises, the conventional finance framework built on layers of financial assets rather than real assets was always hit and badly affected. Bubbles always burst when put under stress, which is the case when systems are built on real assets, when the system is not based on real assets. Real economy always wins the battle of sustainability against volatile financial models. As such, Islamic finance provides a more sustainable and stable perspective to any economic system. Based on this, we are all invited to think about some guiding steps. Invest more. Maybe we need to invest more in research and innovation to develop financial products that reflects the uniqueness of Islamic finance, away from mirroring conventional finance models and products in Sharia-compliant manners. Highlight the governance standards that show the power of transparency provided by Sharia. Develop and enhance the framework of issuing standards to match the speed of change and its challenges. We therefore need to capitalize on existing Islamic finance framework as a source of economic resilience and disruption avoidance. Islamic finance contracts, tools, products, standards, and Sharia regulations should lead to a real growth in a real economic context. Especially, we need a framework for economic resilience and governance based on the following main components. Sharia standards that cover aspects of disruption, that can guide resilience actions and plans. Sound accounting standards that increases the trust in the institutions that adopt those standards. Financial and economic indicators that can be trusted as a clearly warning system for disruption. And governance standards to reflect transparency and trust. The key success factor for such framework is to increase the speed of response to match the changes as fast as possible. This calls for more strategic cooperation between AAOIFI, IFSP, and regulators. This cooperation can provide answers for economic resilience and governance in time of disruption. An integrated and properly directed Islamic finance industry is the potential solution to support our economies. I hope we all stand behind this effort to give the world an example of how Islamic finance industry can guide us all for a better economic models. And at the end, allow me again to thank the Kingdom of Bahrain, King, government, people, and the Central Bank of Bahrain and AAOIFI for their kind host. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for delivering the welcome note. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up our first half of the opening session of the day. We would like to thank all of you joining us, in particular, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Abdullah Al Khalifa, Deputy Prime Minister of Kingdom of Bahrain, for joining us besides his busy schedule. And as such, we announce the departure of His Highness and announce the opening of exhibition. Excellencies, we will take a very quick 5 minutes break and request all the dignitaries and the governors of the central banks to join us back for the mementos distribution and signing of memorandum of understandings. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back to start our next part of the opening session, and that is about mementos distribution and signing of memorandum of understandings. In addition to that, we have a certificate distribution for AAOIFI fellows. To start the proceedings, may I request His Excellency Sheikh Ibrahim bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, Chairman of AAOIFI Board of Trustees, to join me please on the stage. The first memento will be presented to His Excellency Governor Rashid Mohammed Al Miraj, Governor Central Bank of Bahrain, who has extended a lot of support to AAOIFI ever since its beginning. And we welcome His Excellency Governor Rashid Mohammed Al Miraj to the stage. The next memento is being presented to His Excellency Dr. Firas Melhem, Governor and Chairman of Palestine Monetary Authority. The next memento will be presented to His Excellency Engineer Ali Abdullahi Dahir, Governor of Central Bank of Somaliland. The next token of appreciation will be presented to His Excellency Dr. Wasim Mansouri, the first Vice Governor of Bank du Liban, Central Bank of Lebanon. We are thankful to the support that comes from Islamic Development Bank for a number of AOIFI initiatives, in particular this very important conference. And to receive a memento of appreciation, we request Dr. Sami Swelem to please join us on the stage. If I see Dr. Sami, can I request Brother Khalid Al-Jawahir to join us on the stage to receive a memento of appreciation? Dr. Sami is here as well. Do you want to join him? Can we request Dr. Sami to join us on the stage for a quick picture? Thank you very much for the support that comes from Islamic Development Bank for a number of AOIFI initiatives, in particular this very important conference. I'm sure all of you would agree that this conference would not be possible without the support of the partners that we have for this conference. And we are thankful to all of them equally, inshallah. And the first memento will be presented to Kuwait Finance House for being a major sponsor or partner for this conference. And I request Mr. Abdul Hakim Al Khayat, Managing Director and CEO of KFH Bahrain, to receive the memento of appreciation. Our second major partner for this conference is Jamhuriya Bank from Libya. And to receive the token of appreciation, we request Mr. Salim Al-Torgajani, Deputy General Manager, Jamhuriya Bank, to please join us on the stage. Okay. Our third major partner is SNB from Saudi Arabia. We request our Member of Board of Trustees, Sheikh Hamza Bawazir, Executive Vice President, Head of Sharia Division, to receive a memento of appreciation. Bahrain Islamic Bank has been one of the most important supporters of this very important conference. And we request Mr. Yasser Al-Sharifi, CEO of the bank, to please join us to receive a memento of appreciation. We at AOIFI are thankful to Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank for being a keen supporter of AOIFI initiatives, including this very important conference. And to represent the CEO of the bank, we have Sheikh Usaid Kelani, member of AOIFI Sharia Board, to receive a memento of appreciation on behalf of Adib. Al Baraka Banking Group has been a long-standing partner of AAOIFI, and we are glad to have them on board again for this conference this year. To receive a moment of appreciation, we have Mr. Fawad Janahi, Acting Head of Administration and Operations, Al Baraka Banking Group. We are also thankful to Khaliji Commercial Bank for being a gold partner for this important conference, as well as our other Sharia conference. And we request Mr. Satam Al-Ghuthaybi, CEO of the bank, to join us, please, to receive a moment of appreciation. DD Cap, a member of AAOIFI, has been a supporter of AAOIFI and its initiatives. And to receive a moment of appreciation, we have Mr. Hussein Khaja, Regional Director, DD Cap, with us here. This time we have a new addition to our supporter in the form of an advisory organization. We are pleased to have PwC on board as a gold partner for this conference. And we are pleased to have Mr. John Moley, a partner at the firm. Can I request John to please join us on the stage? Our other silver partner, IFIN, Islamic Financial Services, who has been a supporter of AAOIFI and its conferences. Can I request Ms. Manar Abbas to join us, please, on the stage to receive a moment of appreciation? Do we have Ms. Manar here? Oh, mashallah. Can I also request the Regional Sales Manager of Essentio, formerly known as Path Solutions, Mr. Muhammad Amir Al-Dirini, to join us, please, on the stage to receive a moment of appreciation. Thank you very much to all our supporters and sponsors for being a very keen partner of this important conference, and I'm sure you will all agree that without their support, this conference would not be possible. So a round of applause to all of the partners and sponsors of this conference, please. Thank you very much. The next part of the program that we have is AAOIFI's Fellowship Certificate Distribution. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we could not have this earlier, and we are pleased to have some of our AAOIFI fellows who have joined us and who have actually traveled far and wide to be with us, inshallah. And I will request, first of all, our honorary fellows. None of them need any introduction, but I'm pleased to invite one by one to please join us on the stage. I'm pleased to invite Dr. Bello Danbata, Secretary General of Islamic Financial Services Board, and Honorary Fellow of AAOIFI, SIPA. The next person equally doesn't need any introduction. We are pleased to have him with us today, Mr. Nur Rahman Abed, Member of Board of Trustees at AAOIFI and Board of Directors at KFH. We are also pleased to have Mr. Irshad Mahmood, Partner Audit and Assurance, Deloitte & Touche, Middle East, to please join us on the stage to receive AAOIFI Fellowship Certificate. The next certificate of AAOIFI Fellowship will be presented to Mr. Musa Shehada, Chairman of Jordan Islamic Bank. Can I request Mr. Musa Shehada to please join us on the stage? Mr. Musa Shehada. We also have fast-track fellowship programs at AAOIFI, and we are pleased to have the two who join us today with us. Can I request Mr. Hondamir, a representative of Islamic Development Bank and a member of Accounting Board at AAOIFI, to please join us? Okay. Can I request Mr. Harun Tabriz, faculty member, program coordinator at Institute of Banking Administration? Okay, it's fine. You need a table. Okay. Would like to thank Your Excellency Governor Rashid Mohammad Al Miraj, and I would request Sheikh Ibrahim to please join us on the stage, remain on the stage. Okay. The chair. No, just call him. Okay. Copy. Book. Okay. We would now begin the MOU signing ceremony. We are glad to have a partnership being signed today with 4 regulatory bodies from around the world. And the first of that is an MOU to be signed with Palestine Monetary Authority, who is also a member of AAOIFI. I request Dr. Firas Milham to please join us on the stage. Sheikh. The next MOU will be signed between AAOIFI and Central Bank of Somaliland. Can I request His Excellency Engineer Ali Abdullahi Dahir, Governor of Central Bank of Somaliland, to please join us? Membership. We are also pleased to have Central Bank of Somaliland join us as a regulatory member of AAOIFI, and we are signing the agreement here in your presence. The next MOU will be signed between AAOIFI and Central Bank of Oman, and we are pleased to have the Executive Vice President for Supervision and Regulation, Mr. Rashid Al-Ghassani. Can I also request the delegation to join us on the stage, please? I don't hear you. Yes, but we have the report. Somebody needs to do that. Thank you very much. The next MOU will be signed between AAOIFI and Bank du Liban, the Central Bank of Lebanon, and I request His Excellency Dr. Wasim Mansouri, First Vice Governor, to please join us on the stage. Thank you very much. This wraps up our MOU signing ceremony. We do have 2 books launch which are presented. However, before that, I would like to announce that AAOIFI Sharia standards have been translated into multiple languages, including Arabic, English, French, Russian, Turkish, Urdu, and we are pleased to announce that it is now being translated into Bahasa, into Bengali language as well, and we are putting in efforts to have them make them available into other languages, including Bahasa Indonesia. So we do announce that we've got a soft launch that is happening today, later on, for into Bengali language for our AAOIFI Sharia standards. We also have 2 books launch, 2 reports launch. The first of which is the report which is launched by Refinitiv, Islamic Finance Development Indicator Report, and this is being launched today. We have a full session on it tomorrow, but we have the honor of presenting it to Sheikh Ibrahim bin Khalifa Al-Khalifa by Dr. Muhammad Al-Bashir, a representative from ICD, Islamic Development Bank. We also have the launch of the Global Islamic Finance Report 2022, one of the most important report that is being published from the United Kingdom since the year 2010. There will be a full session on it later today, inshallah. Ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up our first session or opening session of the day. Inshallah, we'll break for coffee now to start our next session. And which will be, I'm sure you'll agree, will be a very interesting one. We thank you all who have joined us this morning, and do hope that you'll stay with us for the rest of the session, inshallah. We would start back at 10 past 11 sharp, please. May I request everyone to be back in the room 10 past 11. Thank you.